This is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. It is Friday, and I get excited about Fridays. You know why I get excited on Fridays. There's multiple reasons why I get excited on Friday. One, it's the start of the weekend. Who doesn't love the start of the weekend? Two, you start to get settled into your action, whether it be, college football on Saturday or a little bit of boxing if we get lucky on a Saturday. And then the NFL comes your way on Sunday. What's not to love about Fridays? And then it's the weekend. Hey, everybody, fiesta. Celebrate. It's Friday. So, not going to keep you here long. I took care of Thursday Night Football on a separate show, breaking down that game on Thursday night. But I'll just give you a brief synopsis of what happened, and then we'll just get on with the Pick'em Weekly. So, Panthers take care of business, 31-13 on Thursday Night Football. Huge game by Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. They did exactly what I wanted them to do, which is dispose of a bad football team. The Buccaneers did what 0-7 teams do. They self-destructed, made mistakes, lost the football game in convincing fashion. That's what I expected to happen. That's exactly what did happen. Big win for the Carolina Panthers, who have extended their winning streak to 3 games, have gotten over 500 for the first time, and I didn't know this, for the first time since 2008, 5 whole seasons. Are you kidding me? That is mind-boggling. That is mind-blowing. Do you know how hard it is not to go over 500 in 5 seasons? Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how easy it is to go over 500? Do you know that all you have to do simply is win your first game of the season? So you're telling me that in at least the last 5 seasons, the Panthers have failed to win their first game of the season. And we don't know for sure if they won their first game in 2008 or not. We just know they went over 500 at some point in that season. So that's hard to do. The worst franchises in the league, the Cincinnati Bengals when they were bad, the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, the Buffalo Bills, teams that annually don't make the postseason have been over 500 at some point in the last 5 years. Man, that is something that is hard for me to fathom, but forget about that. That's in the past now. This is a team on a 3-game winning streak that is over 500 now, and they're playing good football. And I want Carolina Panthers fans to keep what they are doing right now in its proper perspective, however. Look, I don't want you going off and talking about how you're going to win the NFC South and how you're going to do this and do that in the playoffs and yada, yada. Pump your brakes. I want you to relax and take what you've done and put it in its proper perspective. And here's why. You've beat up on some really bad teams on this 3-game winning streak, okay? And you know it. I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that you beat up on some really porous football teams, okay? We're talking about a combined 2 wins between the 3 teams that you have beat in this 3-game winning streak. So we don't even have enough wins to spread around one to each team that you've beat in this 3-game winning streak. So we're talking about 2 wins and about 19 losses. You beat up on the 0-6 Giants, who got their first win on Monday Night Football, versus the second team you beat on your 3-game winning streak in the Minnesota Vikings. Both of those teams are terrible. And then you turn around and you beat an 0-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, who is probably worse than both of those teams, and they're winless on the season. So I want you to keep what you've done in its proper place. Keep it in its proper perspective. Don't go off and start talking crazy, but you're playing good football. That's what good teams do to bad teams. They blow them out. They don't let them hang around. They don't win the game 20-17. They beat the brakes off of bad teams. You take the garbage, you sweep it up, and you put it in the trash. And that's what you have done over this 3-game winning streak. You've disposed of bad football teams, and you have done it in a huge way. And that's why I like what the Panthers have been doing. You haven't tippy-toed around these bad teams. You've beat the brakes off of them. And that's what you do to bad teams. You do 38-0 to the Giants, 35-3 to the Vikings, and 31-13 to the Buccaneers. That's what you do to bad football teams. Cam Newton and his offense is playing good football. This defense dominated the Buccaneers last night. And what can you say? You are playing good football. Keep it up. But just keep it in its proper perspective. If you're the Buccaneers, you did what bad teams do. You continue to do that. And you lost the football game. It's not really much more for me to say and elaborate on that subject matter. You're a bad football team, and you did what bad football teams do to lose football games. You self-destructed. So let's get to the Pick'em Weekly for week number 8. And look, I was bad last week. I was historically bad last week. 8-7 is not in my DNA. I am not a guy that finishes just a game above 500. I've only finished worse one time, and last year I went 7-9, which is unheard of for me. I'm almost at liberty not to even discuss that. That's how disgusting that was for me last season. But I bounced back well after that poor showing in, I think it was week number 2 last season, where I finished a game under 500 for that week, which is unheard of. I don't do that. And so a game over 500, do you know how close I was to being under 500 again? I was one loss away from being under 500 in week number 7. That is absolutely despicable. And so I'm going to be better. I assure you of this, because week number 8 is an easy week to pick games. The first one we've had since about week 3 this year. So it's been tough sledding the last couple of weeks. I feel really good about my picks this week, because I think these are no-brainers. If teams show up, the ones that I expect to show up and get it done, I should lose no more than 3 games this week. 10-3, 11-2, or 12-1 is what I'm aiming for, because this is a week where I'm supposed to be able to dominate, and I expect to. So let's go through these games. I look to have a huge bounce back week. And these games are easy to pick again. There are going to be a couple of teams that want to throw a little monkey wrench in my plans, but again, as long as I beat them to the punch, figure out what they're trying to do before they do it, I should be on top of things. Let's break down the Pick'em Weekly for week number 8 in the National Football League. I've already started off to a good start. And you know how I like to get that first one under my belt on Thursday Night Football. Wasn't able to do that last week. I was able to accomplish that this week. Feels good. And look, it wasn't hard, okay? 0-7 Tampa Bay disposed of by a team on a 3-game winning streak in the Carolina Panthers. They took care of business. I don't care how I get it. I just want to get it, and I got it. So I'm 1-0 to start this week off, so it's a great start. Now, let's talk about Dallas at Detroit. This is a tough game. If I lose 3 games, this will be one of them, because you got 2 teams that are 4-3, so they're evenly matched. The Cowboys are decimated right now by injuries. DeMarcus Ware probably another week or 2 away from playing. He tried to trick everybody. I'm a game time decision. I'm not buying any of that, okay? You don't get a quad injury and then just expect to pop up, oh, I'm a fast healer. So you're self-diagnosing yourself as a fast healer. Right. You keep that to yourself over there. He's not playing in this game, and if he does, he'll be ineffective. This Cowboys team is banged up on the defense. And offensively, they're a little spotty. Philadelphia was able to control them offensively. They just didn't do anything themselves offensively, and so Dallas was able to get that win. But Detroit, they're not that much better. They're struggling. They lost at home last week to Cincinnati. Reggie Bush didn't practice, so if Reginald can't go, I'm a little nervous, because I expect Reginald to be able to do some things against this Dallas Cowboys defense, especially if he can get out in space. But if he's banged up, who's to say what Reginald will be able to provide in this game? So I don't know, but this is what I do know. The Lions are at home. I feel like they're an explosive offense that the Cowboys cannot contain if Reginald plays and if Heavens the Megatron goes out and does what he does. And he had a stellar week last week, and if he does that again this week, the Cowboys will be in trouble. This is a Cowboys defense that's a little sketchy at best. I mean, they dominated the Eagles last week, but you look at what the Redskins were able to do, you look at what the Denver Broncos were able to do. This is a team that can be had defensively, and with these injuries, feel like Detroit has an advantage at home. Give me Detroit in this one. Wouldn't be surprised if Dallas found a way to win this game, but give me the Detroit Lions at home to take care of business. You go on to the next one. San Francisco at Jacksonville. No need to explain myself. No need to elaborate on this one. San Francisco wins this football game. Next up on the slate, Cleveland at Kansas City. The Browns have made the switch at the quarterback position. Enter Jason Campbell, out with Brandon Weeden. And I talked about this earlier in the week. Essentially what you've done with this switch is you've taken a bad quarterback and put in a marginal quarterback in his place. So instead of Kansas City winning this game 26-10, Kansas City is going to win this football game 26-13 or 26-16. That's the only difference here. You've switched out a quarterback that would lose you this game by 16 because of 2 turnovers for a quarterback that might lose you this game by 10 points because of no turnovers. That's basically the difference you get here. Give me Kansas City to get it done at home versus this Cleveland Browns team and go to 8-0 on the season. You look at the next matchup, Miami at New England. This is one of those dicey matchups I'm a little nervous about because it's family business in the AFC East. I don't know the Dolphins. I don't trust the Dolphins. This Patriots team, though, I trust them because of equity they've built up with me over the years. But I tell you what, this is not the same Patriots we've all come to know and hate. And so I'm not sure if I know these guys or not. I think I know these guys. I know Tom Brady, right? That's still number 12. Is it? I'm not sure. That's still Bill Belichick, right? And the coach, the mad genius? I think it is, but I'm not sure. I just know Brady's throwing to a lot of targets that he doesn't trust, that aren't creating separation, that aren't catching the football very well. I just know that this Patriots team is struggling right now, but they're at home. I expect them to be able to take care of Miami. And this is why. Because I don't trust Miami. That's what it all boils down to. I thought Miami was something that they're not. They're not ready for the big time. And unless they want to prove to me that they are in this game, I don't think they're ready to go on the road to a big boy's house in that division and slap them around and come out with a W. Earlier in the season, I thought they were ready for that. But I found out very quickly this Dolphins team isn't ready for the show quite yet. And so I don't know these guys. And when I don't know you, I don't trust you. I don't trust the Dolphins. Give me the Patriots to take care of business at home. But this is going to be a good matchup with some definite ramifications in the AFC East. That is for certain. You look at the next matchup. Buffalo at New Orleans. The New Orleans Saints are coming off a bye. They're at home. They're undefeated at home this season. This is a good New Orleans Saints football team. Drew Brees, Sean Payton, 2 weeks to prepare for the Buffalo Bills defense. Buffalo is a tough team. They're a scary group, but they're on the road against Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Give me the Saints coming off the bye to dispose of the Buffalo Bills in this one. Give me the Saints at home to take care of business. You look at the next matchup. Giants at Eagles, family business, NFC East style. Vic is supposed to play, but we're not sure. I haven't heard a definite, hey, Mike's suiting up. So I'm a little nervous because if it's Matt Barkley, guess what? The Eagles are going to lose this football game. But if it's Michael Vick, guess what? The Eagles are going to win this game. I expect Michael Vick to suit up and play, and I expect him to perform well against this Giants football team. Give me the Eagles. I'll just leave you with this tidbit. The Giants are bad. And even though they won their first game of the season on Monday Night Football, they beat a bad team, and they even looked bad in winning. That was a terrible performance by the Giants, but it was the lesser of two evils. They were a little bit less garbage than the Minnesota Vikings, hence they won the football game. Give me the Eagles to win and snap their 9-game losing streak at home. I hope I don't regret this, but give me the Eagles to take care of business at home. And oh yeah, if Matt Barkley has to start and play in this game, give me the Giants instead. But give me the Eagles because Vic will play and he will beat the New York Giants in this football game. Next up on the slate, Jets at Cincinnati. This has the makings of one of the better matchups of week number 8. A lot of people aren't talking about it, but you're talking about 4-3 Jets at 5-2 Cincinnati. But I've already told you this on numerous occasions. I trust the Cincinnati Bengals 110% at home. And guess where this game is? In Cincinnati. Thus, Cincinnati will win this football game. Now, this Jets defense is playing lights out. This D-line right now, stopping the run and getting after your quarterback. They're a dangerous group up front. But in that same breath, talking about them potentially applying pressure on Andy Dalton, what do you think this Cincinnati Bengals defense, that's a top 5 unit in this league, is going to do to Geno Smith? Geno is going to definitely turn it over. Geno. Oh, no. That's who's going to show up. Not Geno. Oh. Not Geno. Oh. Geno. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Give me Cincinnati at home to force 2 or 3 turnovers of Geno Smith in that Jets offense and win this football game. This could be a 3-point win for the Cincinnati Bengals. It could be a 13-point win. Either way, I expect Cincinnati to find a way to win this football game. Give me the Bengals at home to take care of the Jets. You look at the next matchup. Pittsburgh at Oakland. This is a trap game. This is a bait game. And I would love to tell you that I know exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to transpire in this game. And I can tell you that I'm not going into the trap. I'm not falling for the bait. But I don't know what the Steelers are going to do out in Oakland. Last time they went out there last year, they lost. But this is a different Oakland Raiders team. They're coming off a bye. Man, I tell you what, it would not surprise me in the least if the Raiders win this football game. Because Terrell Pryor is going to pose fits for this Steelers defense because they're not an athletically gifted defense. They're not fast. Terrell Pryor is supremely athletic compared to the Steelers on defense. He can run around. He can do some things in this game. But every time Terrell Pryor sees a tough defense, and his Steelers defense is still formidable, even though they're not the same Blitzburg defense that's forcing turnovers and getting to your quarterback, they're still a formidable group. And anytime Terrell Pryor sees a decent defense, he struggles. I expect the Steelers to stifle him, make him make some mistakes. Even though the Steelers don't force turnovers, I expect them to force him into a couple of mistakes, and I expect the Steelers to extend this winning streak to 3 games. Give me the Steelers on the road. Would not surprise me if the Raiders jumped up and bit them, but give me the Steelers just in case the Raiders decide to be, well, the Oakland Raiders. You look at the next matchup. Arizona at home hosting the Atlanta Falcons. This is a nasty game here too. A good one, not maybe one you want to watch, but it'll end up being a very solid football game. Look, Cardinals coming off of a bye, 2 weeks to prepare for the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are banged up. They have been decimated by injuries. I mean, they are the walking wounded. They are the definition of the walking wounded this season. I don't know if Roddy White is playing. I don't know if Steven Jackson is playing. I think both of them might try to give it a go in this game, but I'm not sure. I really don't know what I'm getting out of this Atlanta Falcons team. And keep in mind, the last time these teams met, it was last season. It was in Atlanta, and the Arizona Cardinals really took it to Matt Ryan and this Atlanta Falcons football team. They still won the game, did the Falcons, but it wasn't easy. It was because the Falcons were able to make them make mistakes because of their quarterback situation. Well, this is a different team, and even though Carson Palmer throws picks and doesn't seem to know which team is his, and he throws the ball to the wrong colored jersey too much, I expect the Arizona Cardinals at home to force this Atlanta Falcons team, who is really banged up, into some mistakes and win this football game. I'm not sold on the Atlanta Falcons this season. I just don't think they're going to be a good team. They could win this game. They probably will win this game, but I'm not picking them to win this game. Give me the Arizona Cardinals. They owe me one. They cost me a game last week on Thursday night. I'm giving them one more chance to redeem themselves. Give me the Arizona Cardinals to get it done in this football game. You look at the next matchup. Washington at Denver. Normally, I would make you come to the Redskins report for this one, but this one to me is cut and dry. Redskins are playing better football. They scored 45 points last week against Chicago. They're a different football team right now. They're playing a lot better, especially defensively. They're a different team. But this is Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. And even though Peyton didn't practice on Wednesday with an ankle injury, he's going to suit up, he's going to play, and he's going to play at a very high level. This is why. The difference between what we saw from the Denver Broncos on Sunday night against the Indianapolis Colts and what we will see from them on Sunday afternoon at home versus the Washington Redskins is the fact that the Colts could get pressure on Peyton without having to send the kitchen sink, and the Redskins are going to have to send the kitchen sink if they want to get pressure on Peyton Manning. We can't line up and just send 4 or 5 rushers at Peyton and get constant pressure like the Colts could. And that's the difference in the game. We'll have to send 6 or 7 guys on the blitz. Peyton will carve us up because you're asking Redskins defenders to have to cover one-on-one Wes Welker, Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas, and Juice. The Redskins won't win those one-on-one matchups. Peyton Manning will find the void in that defense. He will find the mismatch in one of those one-on-one matchups, carve the Redskins up, and the Denver Broncos will spoil Mike Shanahan's return to Denver. Give me the Denver Broncos to have a bounce-back game versus the Washington Redskins. It pains me to pick against my boys, but I know when the writing's on the wall, and it's very clear. the message is clear. Don't do it this week. Give me the Denver Broncos at home. You look at Sunday Night Football, Packers at Vikings. Look, Vikings are a bad football team. Bad football team. And the Packers, while banged up, they're much better than the Minnesota Vikings. And even though this is family business and the Vikings know the Green Bay Packers like the back of their hand, it does not matter. Green Bay is the better football team, and they will show their superiority over the Minnesota Vikings in this game. Jermichael Finley isn't playing, but I think they're going to be getting James Jones back. So one tags in, the other tags out. The Packers keep the train rolling in Minnesota. And oh, by the way, Christian Ponder is back at quarterback because of Josh Freeman and a concussion. Don't know what Ponder is going to do. Maybe a second lease on life is what he needs to step up. I don't care if he plays well or not. Give me the Green Bay Packers on the road to take care of the Minnesota Vikings. In that matchup, that takes us to Monday Night Football. Seattle at St. Louis. Seattle is going to win this game for one reason and one reason alone. And there are other reasons why they're going to win this game, but I don't need to mention them because I'm going to mention this one. St. Louis is starting Kellen Clemens at quarterback. Nuff said Seattle takes it easily on the road in the division against the St. Louis Rams. Give me the Seattle Seahawks to go to 7-1 on the season with this win on Monday Night Football. So that completes my Pick'em Weekly for week number 8. Flash is trying to challenge me again, but I've already disposed of Flash. I'll look at his picks. I'll see what he does compared to mine, but I got this week on lock. I don't think this is a week where he really wants any of me because this is a very simple week for me. If teams take care of business, I mean, looking at the slate, I think there's about 3 or 4 games that could go either way. And the rest of them, to me, slam dunks. Just like Thursday night was an easy game, I expect a lot of what happens in week number 8 to be much on par with what we saw on Thursday Night Football. One team being better than the other and exerting its dominance over that team and winning the football game in convincing fashion. I expect a lot of that to happen in week number 8. Thus, I feel like it's a fairly simple week, and I expect to bounce back in a major way. So, you know what time it is. Toss them up. Let's tack on this quick extra point. And so, looking at the slate of games, I feel good about what I'm about to embark on in week number 8. You saw what happened on Thursday Night Football. If you weren't sure about Greg Schiano, you're pretty sure now, or at least you should be, he's not going to make it to the next season. I don't think he's getting fired during the season, but he's definitely not going to be the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving forward. I think the Glazers, very methodical in their approach, will wait till the end of the season to figure out what they want to do and what direction they want to go in. You know what name I'm starting to hear pop up? Lovie Smith. Good old lovable Lovie. So all of a sudden, a guy that couldn't get a job last offseason after he was unceremoniously fired from Chicago, he's going to be the hot name off of everybody's tongue come this offseason. And you know how this goes. You know how retreads go in the league. When you've been a successful retread, your name is going to be hot on the market, much like Jeff Fisher was when he decided to sit down for a year. Mike Shanahan did the same thing, and then everybody wanted their services. He'll be one of the first coaches that everybody is calling up, trying to see if he can come in and be their next head coach. We'll see, because I think there are going to be at least 3 or 4, maybe even 5 vacancies come the end of the season. Looks like Houston's probably going to have a vacancy. Tampa Bay could have a vacancy. I hope Minnesota doesn't have one. I don't think this is fair to Leslie Frazier. I hope they don't give this man an extension like they did and then fire him the next season. I don't believe that's fair. Don't do that to Leslie Frazier, but they're going to be a bad team this season, are the Minnesota Vikings, but I hope he doesn't get fired. I don't think that's warranted in Minnesota, but there are going to be some vacancies. Tennessee could have a vacancy. I mean, it's such a long season. We have no idea who's going to just absolutely have a nosedive and could get fired. So hard to say right now, but we know for sure that if Houston continues on the path they're on and Tampa Bay continues on the path that they're on, those will probably be 2 vacancies that will be open come the end of the season. And so we'll see. We will see. But Lovie Smith, his name has started to surface in the ranks of head coaches in the National Football League as far as vacancies are concerned. And so even though there aren't any vacancies right now, we see the writing on the wall, and Lovie Smith's name has started to surface already. So that'll do it for the Friday edition of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me here on the program. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Enjoy the football. Enjoy your weekend. You'll see me back here on Monday breaking all of the action from week number 8 down. You know how I do it. I'll see you back here on Monday. Enjoy the festivities. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.
In the lab room.